Hey guys, welcome back to another Operation Arsenal. It feels like it's been months. It honestly has been such a long time since Arsenal played a game. International duty is just a killer. I can't stand it. I get it. I know that the international teams need to play friendlies to warm up for competitions, whatever. But my God, how many people like me sitting there at the weekend like, where is the Premier League? Come on. So it's back. Arsenal played Stoke today. We've beaten them 3-0. And I don't want to talk about the game too much because it wasn't anything special. I'll start off with that, but then I want to move on to some more interesting topics regarding Arsenal, especially on the manager front. There's been a lot of rumours. So let's start off with the game. First half, let's not talk about it. That's how I feel right now. It was shocking. And that's when you start saying to yourself, yeah, I don't miss the Premier League sometimes, because it was appalling. The first half was so poor. The amount of passes that weren't even close to a teammate. They were actually, straight to Stoke. Chambers did it a few times in defence. He literally passed it to a Stoke player. Quite literally, like, here's the ball. Mesut Ozil gave away the ball a few times in a dangerous position. One of the times as well, they got on the break. Luckily, Mustafi was there to break it up. But in general, the first half was very poor. And actually, I would go as far as saying it's on par with one of our worst 45 minutes of the season. Just so lacklustre, so poor. It's the best way to describe it. And I think there is an obvious reason for it. And I think that it's just a lack of sharpness. It's being away from the Premier League for a few weeks. Lack of game time. A lot of the players in the team today didn't do too much on the international break. Some of them didn't play at all. Some of them played a few games. It just wasn't. It wasn't like a normal Premier League game where you've played 4 or 5 days before. We've played a lot of fixtures this year during the week in the Europa League and then straight into the Premier League on the weekend. We're used to doing a lot in a short time, and it just wasn't like that today. So thankfully, we came back out in the second half a lot stronger. Still wasn't brilliant. It wasn't the best game ever at all by any margin. Stoke look doomed. I don't see them staying up. And I'm not going to lie, look, if you're a Stoke fan, I understand that you'll be upset at me for saying this, but I'm really hopeful that they get relegated. I've hated Stoke for a long time. I despise the way they've played football over the years. They're a bit better now than they used to be. You think back to when it was quite literally just lump it forward and hope that you get someone on the end of it. But I find the fans are just so nasty to Arsenal. Well, to Arsenal players specifically and Arsenal fans. I've been to an Arsenal-Stoke game and I heard it firsthand. Poor Aaron Ramsey. Okay, let's say you go to school and you break your leg because one of your classmates just decides to kick you in your knee. And then for the rest of your stay at that school, they bully you and take the piss out of you for breaking your leg. It's just stupid. They take the piss out of Aaron Ramsey because of what Shawcross did to him. I mean, Ramsey could have lost his career. It was such a nasty break. He spoke about it before. He still has, problems about, thinking about it. Almost like PTSD. Just, it's a horrible time of his life where it's not even his fault. He's been tackled poorly. They've snapped his leg. And every single time we play Stoke, he's reminded of it. And I hate the fact that the fans seem to think that's okay. There has to be some respect there. Okay, you don't just laugh at a player because they broke their leg. That's just not cool. So I guess a lot of Arsenal fans will agree. The sooner Stoke get relegated, the better. And thankfully, it seems like this year it could be happening, along with West Brom. And it looks like Southampton after they lost to West Ham. Man City 1 win away from winning the Premier League, by the way. So we're already looking at teams going down and the team winning. We're that close to the end of the season. So apologies if you're a Stoke fan and you're actually a nice person. And if you're upset with me for saying that, what can I say? It's just my honest opinion. I don't like Stoke. I don't like them. I really don't like Mark Hughes, so I'm glad that he's left you guys. But I'm sad that he's still going to be in the Premier League with Southampton, of course. Mark Hughes is just one of those managers I just despise him. If he started managing Arsenal, I think I wouldn't watch. I really wouldn't, especially not the press conferences and things like that. But let's get back on track. After saying Stoke were woeful, Arsenal weren't brilliant, but we still managed to get 3 goals in 15 minutes. And can I just say, Lacazette comes back from a long injury. He hasn't scored in a long time. His confidence will be low. Aubameyang's bagged 2 already. He's got the chance to score a third and complete his first hat-trick for Arsenal. And what a start he's made at the club, by the way. I believe there's a stat that's come out after the game. He's the fastest player to reach 6 goals for a new club. I think, I can't quite remember how they worded it. It's something like that. So he's done very well. He gave Lacazette the penalty to score. And that takes a lot of respect and a lot of, well, generosity. You know, Lacazette wouldn't, I think he wouldn't have complained. You know, he would have said, well, you're on your hat-trick. Go and bag it, you know. But there's basically one position that we have, striker. We don't play with 2. So Aubameyang and Lacazette are rivals at the moment. They will be playing against each other to win that position. And the fact that they seem so close, and the fact that Aubameyang is that confident that, you know, he'll score more, he gives it to Lacazette, and I was absolutely humbled by that. So happy to see that. So Lacazette got his goal, he buried the penalty, and Aubameyang got himself 2. So 3-0, and that was the game, really. It wasn't anything special. Quick word on Shaqiri, by the way. So in the first half, I heard the commentators say that he did an interview with a Swiss reporter during the international break, saying that the reason he hasn't shone, and this is Shaqiri's own words, by the way, this was what he said in an interview, the reason that he hasn't shone in the Premier League so much and hasn't done so well is because he doesn't have quality players with him. His teammates aren't quality enough. Now, the reason I want to mention that is because you're going from one story of, you know, someone being really humble and generous, Aubameyang giving the penalty to Lacazette, embracing his teammates, you know, and helping them. You go to Shaqiri, quite literally saying that I play for a crap team and my teammates are crap. How can you say that? I tend to agree with him. Yes, Shaqiri is their best player by probably quite some distance, but you don't say something like that. I mean, how does that make your teammates feel when you come back into training after the international break and you've heard that, oh, Shaqiri's saying you're shit? Okay, that's horrendous. And Shaqiri may be a good player, but no player should be so just rude. Absolutely horrendous. And I hope that he apologises for that, and I hope that he has apologised already, because if I was part of that team, I would not be pleased with that, and I would not be interested in talking to Shaqiri. It's just a lack of respect. Anyway, that's the game talked about. 3 points. Of course, it doesn't really mean anything for us. We're not going to get into the top 4. We're not going to get relegated. We are just fighting for 6th, effectively. Excuse me. So there's a story that came out a couple of days ago, which I wanted to do a separate video on, but there wasn't enough information. It was just a rumour. But it's a rumour that I'm very intrigued by. So Dortmund had a coach recently, Thomas Tuchel, renowned for giving Pulisic his breakthrough. He had Mkhitaryan and Aubameyang in the team, of course, at Dortmund, and they were playing really well. He set the team up brilliantly. He did very well at Dortmund. Okay, and then these rumours came out the other day saying that he's obviously in the market for a job, and there's a lot of clubs looking to get him. If I list you some of these clubs, okay, this will help what I'm trying to say. Chelsea want him. PSG wants him. Bayern really want him because obviously they're losing their manager now at the end of the season. Heinz, he said he doesn't want to carry on. So if Bayern and PSG and Chelsea want him, what does that say? Okay, so Thomas Tuchel apparently has been in talks with Arsenal. Apparently Wenger is stepping down at the end of the season. He realises that he has outstayed his welcome, to say the least, and that Arsenal obviously have been, itching over the last few seasons, worried about if Wenger goes, who do we bring in? It feels almost perfect. Now, the reason I like Thomas Tuchel is because he's younger. I don't know his exact age, but he's not as old as Wenger, that's for sure. I love the fact that he would bring a bit of a younger energy, someone that isn't archaic like Wenger, okay? He is archaic. When you look at managers around the world these days, it seems to be, we're going through a phase where younger managers are doing really well, being much more successful than the older managers, which wasn't a thing about 10 years ago when you had the likes of Fergie, Arsene Wenger, Ancelotti. There's a lot of younger managers doing great things in world football at the moment. Thomas Tuchel, I really think, has the potential to turn Arsenal into a bigger and better club. I really do. We've already got players at the club that he will work with and already knows. You think AUBAMEYANG and Mkhitaryan, Thomas Tuchel would get them working like they were at Dortmund. They were absolutely world class there. They've got potential to do that at Arsenal as well. I love the fact that he would bring that new energy, the youth. I don't know how to explain it. It's because we're so used to having a manager that is of older age, and there's no denying it. When you get older in life, you're more wise. You slow yourself down a bit, and there's not as much energy. You're not going to see Arsene Wenger running up and down the pitch, are you? When we've scored or something. Whereas Thomas Tuchel, I think I can see him on the bench now. He will be standing. He will be barking orders at the team. He will be the leader that we need vocally, not just someone that you look to on the side who's sitting in his chair fumbling around with his zip. Okay, so I don't think it's going to happen, because I think Thomas Tuchel will end up going to probably a Chelsea or a Bayern or a PSG, although apparently he has turned Bayern down. I don't think he wants to be in the Bundesliga. I don't know why, but I personally wouldn't manage Arsenal, because that is going to be a huge job, taking over from someone as legendary as Arsene Wenger, who may have gone downhill over the last 5-6 years, but there's no denying it. He's a legend of the game. And coming in and replacing a manager that's been at a club for so long is not an easy task. Just a few losses, and can you imagine the headlines? Can you imagine the pressure on him? He could easily go to PSG and triple his salary that he had at Dortmund. He could easily go to Chelsea and inherit an absolutely world-class squad. And he could easily go to Bayern and they win everything in their domestic area. It's just easy, really, isn't it? You can't really lose as Bayern manager, although their squad is ageing, so he would have to do some work there. It's the easy option, though, isn't it, to go for one of those three? But Arsenal would be a challenge, and I think he needs that. And I would absolutely be over the moon if we announced that Wenger was stepping down, or stepping up even, going to director of football or whatever it is, just so he's not involved in managing the first team as much, and get Thomas Tuchel in. I would just be over the moon. And, it's just a rumour at this point. I guess we'll know nearer the time if that's actually a reality. But it could happen, guys. So what are your thoughts? Leave your comments below. Do you think Thomas Tuchel could do a good job at Arsenal? And do you think it's even remotely possible that he would join? Because I'd be interested to hear your thoughts. There's a lot of managers out there that would love the Arsenal job. But there's not many managers out there that I want at Arsenal. And Thomas Tuchel would be one of them. He really would be. So thank you for watching another episode of Operation Arsenal. It's been a long time and I've really missed it. I've really missed making these videos, so I'm glad it's coming back now. Although, what am I going to do during the summer with no Arsenal? We'll have to do World Cup, Operation World Cup videos instead. But all the best, guys. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video soon.